going to our Heavenly Father Yahweh. In the name of our Lord and Savior Yahawashi, peace, mercy, and blessings be abound to you brothers and sisters throughout the four corners of the earth that are waiting on the second coming of our Lord and Savior Yahawashi. Today we're just going to go into some aspects of the gospel and hopefully other topics that the Spirit leads. So
right.
Go ahead.
This is Luke 4, starting at the 18th verse. The Spirit of the Lord is upon me, because he hath anointed me to preach the gospel to the poor. He hath sent me to heal the brokenhearted, to preach deliverance to the captives, and the recovering of sight to the blind, and to set at liberty them that are bruised, to preach the acceptable year of the Lord. Now, So basically, you know, this is when you look at modern day Christianity, they always speak about the gospel this, the gospel that, but not really understanding its origins and what it's pertaining to. Now, right here, what Yahawashi was stating was in the book of Isaiah, in Isaiah 61. We can just go ahead and just kind of jump into Isaiah 61 and read that. Yeah, because the Christians believe that this is when Yahawashi came upon the scene, that this is the only time when the gospel was presented or even mentioned inside the scriptures. So he made a quote from the book of Isaiah, and brother, go ahead and bring it up.
Yeah, it's Isaiah 61, starting at verse 1. The Spirit of Yahweh is upon me, because Yahweh hath appointed me to preach good tidings. This is the gospel, good news.
Yep.
That's what it means, good tidings.
Yep.
Unto the meek, he hath sent me to bind up the brokenhearted, to proclaim liberty to the captives, and to the opening of the prison to them that are bound, to proclaim the acceptable year of Yahweh, and the day of vengeance of our God, to comfort all that mourn.
Come on, man. Hey, man.
That's a cold cut right there.
Good tidings. When you say good tidings, that's good news. But that's not pertaining to everybody.
Yep.
It's going to be good tidings for the ones it's presented to, but it's not going to be so good to those who are in the servitude, so to speak. Because in modern day Christianity, they bring it to the whole. They bring it as a whole. So all so-called blacks, all so-called whites, all so-called Chinese can just make it into this thing that's the gospel. And that's not the case, man. Because within a kingdom, because this is the kingdom gospel, the gospel of the kingdom, because within the kingdom there must be servants. If everybody's a ruler within the kingdom, there's no kingdom, because there are no servants. You see?
Even from a doctrine perspective, like this strictly doctrine, if we don't even know who's who.
Right.
From a doctrine perspective, the other nations have to serve Israel in the kingdom. That's according to doctrine. Not according to modern day 18th, 17th, 19th century German professor terms of race. This is just a doctrine issue.
Yep.
So by doctrine, the other biblical nations have to serve the elect of Israel, and will have vengeance acted upon them, according to verse 2 of that same verse we just read. Because verse 2, which a lot of Christians will skip over, verse 2 says to proclaim the acceptable year of the Lord and the day of vengeance of our God, to comfort all that mourn. So what is he going to act vengeance upon? He's going to act vengeance upon those of the nation of Israel that didn't believe, and upon the other nations. And we can get that in Psalm 149.
Yeah. So I got this. This is Isaiah 40. This is Isaiah 40, starting at the 9th verse. I'm gonna go down to the 15th verse, and this is gonna bring both aspects. It's going to bring the aspect towards Israel, and then it's going to bring the aspect towards all the other nations. This is Isaiah 40, starting from the 9th. O Zion. Zion was a city in David, a city of David. That's what it was known as when you go into the history. It says, O Zion, that bringest good tidings, talking about the gospel. Get thee up into the high mountain. O Jerusalem, that bringest good tidings. So this is southern and northern kingdom. Lift up thy voice with strength. Lift it up. Be not afraid. Say unto the cities of Judah, Behold your God. Behold, the Lord God will come with a strong hand, and his arm shall rule for him. Behold, his reward is with him, and his work before him. He shall feed his flock like a shepherd. He shall gather the lambs with his arm, and carry them in his bosom, and he shall gently lead those that are with young. Who hath measured the waters in the hollow in his hand, and meted out the heavens with the span, and comprehend the dust of the earth in a measure, and weighed the mountains in the scale, and the hills in a balance? Who have directed the Spirit of the Lord, or being his counselor, have taught him? With whom took counsel, and whom instructed, and taught him the path of judgment, and taught him knowledge, and showed to him the way of understanding. Behold, the nations are as a drop of the bucket, and counted as the small dust. He's elevating one, and then he's debasing another. So when you go to that ninth verse, it's talking about Israel. The gospel is being preached to them. All those benefits and blessings are coming to them. But in the 15th verse, it talks about the nations, and he says they're as nothing, as a drop of the. He said he counted them as a drop of the bucket, and are counted as the small dust of the balance. Behold, he taketh up his isles as a very little thing. So there's a total differentiation between Israel and the other nations when the gospel is concerned. And Yahawashi quoted Isaiah. So Isaiah is letting you know who is pertaining to and who is not pertaining to. You see? It's a very simple thing when you start to understand the old and the new, when you bring it all together. But see, what the churches are teaching you is just one aspect, and then bringing everybody into Israel's realm, and that can't be.
Well, this is part of the problem. It's just like what you brought out earlier by going into that Luke 4.
Yeah.
Who is it being preached to?
Right.
And who is it supposed to comfort? Because like if you self-identify yourself as a person who's not oppressed, then it's going to be hard for you if you don't, as an individual, it's going to be hard for you for the message to resonate with you. If you're not a captive, if you don't feel captive, held against your will, it's going to be hard for it to pertain to you.
Right.
So even when it comes to like, we try to be careful with the like racial constructs, because this is a household of faith thing.
That's right.
You know, because. And I talked about this with a brother this week, because I know, like, it's hard for us to put into words the understanding from a spiritual perspective, because, like Paul said, ye are yet carnal. Our carnal mind, conflict with the spiritual. So when we try and tell you that only Israel can believe and be saved, we're not saying. This is the hard part. We're not saying that people classified in this society as black, Asian, white, whatever, to not be
saved. Because it's a spiritual thing. See, because what we'll do and
that's the hard thing. That's the hard thing for everybody to get, because
they'll look like this brother. They'll come in and say, well, look, he's a black man. He's a black man, and then they'll look at somebody without pigmentation and say, oh, he's a white man. But you don't understand how the spirit operates. That lineage that white man could have been disrupted in time, in past, and then his flesh just looked like that, but yet he's an Israelite, if you understand the meaning of that.
Yeah, because we're looking for believers.
Yeah.
Like we're not out there looking for what we think is opponents of Islam.
Come on. Right.
That's so we're looking for faith, man. Like you got to become like. You got to use another sense. You got to use the term, the metaphysical. Above the physical.
Right.
The physical nature, the outward appearance is what people are stuck on. But the metaphysical, they're not stuck on. The metaphysical is above physical.
They can't get that if I'm relaying this gospel and I'm like the scriptures say, Yahawashi said, they who worship Yahweh must worship him in spirit and in truth. The truth, if you go to Revelations 1 and 14, it gives you the description of our Lord and Savior. So if
someone who's not so-called black,
who doesn't look so-called black and had Asian, Edomite, whatever, and you display that, you read that to them, and they say, oh, okay, yeah, he's black. They've accepted that.
See, this is the cold part about what you just said. That person that is classified as so-called white in this society, if their seed goes back to Israel, they are 100% Israel.
Even though they look white.
Now, the thing about it, this message, this gospel is encrypted code. It's like Bluetooth, man.
Right.
Like Bluetooth is a very specific device. That's why when you turn on, if you ever link up your Bluetooth device, when you turn it on, it knows that when you turn on your speaker, like at the brother's crib, right? You turn on your Harman Kardon speaker, right?
Yeah.
It already been connected with whatever, with my phone or with your tablet.
Right.
So the gospel's the same way.
Yeah, that's right.
It reacts the same way. If you speak in a certain cryptic code, Yahawashi crucified for the remission of sins, baptism, all those things.
Right.
That person's soul is going to be like, yo. It isn't, so it's not even going to be like, oh, I got to identify as Black, Latino, or Native American.
It's just going to resonate.
Them scriptures going to weed out.
See, that's
it's not far.
Yeah.
And maybe it might plant a seed, and they might come back to it later, but it's going to weed out who it's not for.
That's right.
Exactly, because a lot of people get so caught up on the look. Let me tell you something. To believe in the gospel as it is written is almost impossible. Unless Yahweh opens up your eyes to believe it.
That's right.
So how are you going to fight against somebody else for believing in something that you know is damn near impossible to believe in?
Come on, man. And how can you put down another man's servant, man?
Come on, bro.
This is Colossians chapter 4, verse 5. Walk in wisdom toward them that are without, redeeming the time. So you got to use wisdom when you're dealing with other people, man, and take advantage of the moment at hand, to try to give them the word and the truth. Verse 6, let your speech be always with grace, seasoned with salt, that ye may know how ye ought to answer every man. Let your speech be with grace, man. Let it be a peaceful speech, man. Come on. So they can understand it and hear it correctly. You
see, go ahead. Got more?
No, go ahead. That was it.
You see when people come up, if you notice, a lot of times we're not prejudging nobody.
That's right.
If someone walk up, we're going to give them this right here.
That's right.
If they have a question about this, we'll give them a question. We'll answer a question about that. Because we don't know who's coming up, man.
That's right. You don't know.
There's nowhere in the scriptures that says that every 144,000 or all the elect or all the men and women that believe
that's right.
are all going to look like they on the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
Like they all John Shaft, man.
It's all looking like the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, the Cosby Show.
Come on, man.
All right, Martin.
Right.
You got to have one guy looking like Rum Man coming down the fifth floor. You got to have one out there looking like Gina.
Yeah.
You got to have. That's how a lot of. That's where when you don't know the Gospels, when you think like that. And that's why for brothers, especially brothers going to be teaching, you have to understand that this is a spiritual message.
Yes, right.
I'm stressing. I'll keep stressing. This message is almost impossible to believe in. That's how hard this thing is. It's almost impossible. So if any person is sitting there resonating with this and believing in it, you cannot say, and you can't hold them back. You can't, man.
You can't hold them back.
Listen, man, they don't care if this guy was a freaking, was locked up in jail, former freaking neo-Nazi skinhead. He came out, he listened to this, he's like, man,
I believe in this. This is the truth.
This is serious. I see this, and they're not gonna have an oppressive spirit. If you believe in the gospel, you can't have the spirit of an oppressor.
That's right.
And either by default will have a spirit of an oppressor.
Yeah,
because that's the rank. That's the position he's in according to the scriptures. He can't resonate with not being an oppressor.
He's built like that, man.
Yeah.
That's how the Most High created him.
He ain't gonna be frustrated at injustice.
No.
That ain't gonna bother him.
He's gonna embrace it, man.
He's gonna take it all the way, man. He's gonna take that. He's gonna put the whole. He's gonna put all his chips in on that, man. Esau putting all his chips in, that he gonna control the world, man.
That's right. And that's what he's doing.
That he's gonna dominate and oppress you, and he ain't gonna do that. That's where he's at.
Right.
Let me show you. I'm gonna bring this 52 out. This is Isaiah 52, starting at the 7th verse. Now, this is exactly what the brother was talking about. Watch this. This is Isaiah 52 and 7. How beautiful upon the mountains are the feet of him that bringeth good tidings, that publish peace, that bringeth good tidings of good, that publish salvation, that said unto Zion, thy God reigneth. Thy watchmen shall lift up the voice, with the voice together shall they sing, for they shall see eye to eye. In this gospel, man, it's gonna be this thing. We're gonna organizations are coming together with different ideologies and beliefs. These guys do not see eye to eye on things. As a group, you have to see eye to eye, which is why when you go to the New Testament, it is stated that you must all be the same in judgment. You must all speak the same thing. So the gospel is where that is. When you see eye to eye, you have the same judgment. You see the same thing, and you have that same understanding. And so guess what? When I relay a word, it's going to be the same word that this brother relays. It's not going to be different. It's going to have that same meaning behind it. You know what I'm saying?
And you got to make sure that your belief, though, lines up with the scriptures, man.
That's right.
You can't just go in and all of y'all be on the same accord, but it don't line up with the scriptures.
Exactly.
It don't work like that, man.
No.
You know, because all Israel shall not be saved, man.
Right. But they shall
believe that or not.
Right. For they shall see eye to eye when the Lord shall bring again Zion. Come on, man. Now this is what the gospel is pertaining to, man. You know, and I know in modern day Christianity they like to piece the gospel into all these different facets. The gospel of peace is different from the kingdom gospel. No, it's not, man. It's all encapsulated inside the gospel, man. It's all the same. Christianity will break the things up and try to say, oh, well, this is pertaining unto Christians and not to Israel. No, it's not, man. It's all Israel, man. You can't break stuff up. It's the gospel in Isaiah. He basically breaks the whole thing down for you. If you go through 61, he goes into detail about all these aspects, man. It's very clear who the gospel is pertaining to, who is for, and who is not for. And as the brother was saying, we're not speaking of it in a carnal sense, in the sense of saying, oh, this guy's a so-called Asian, he's not going to get it. No, it's spiritual, man. Like you said, it's a very hard thing to explain in words. You can't really explain it. You just got to have the spirit to understand it.
Got to open up your eyes, you know?
Yeah.
And the thing about it is like there's very specific scriptures in the Old and New Testament that allude to or confirm the fact that this particular message is only for a set of people among Israel. Even further than that.
Yeah.
Because the Israel that the brother's talking about is the Israel that's of the elect. That's going to be the representation of Israel when the kingdom is set up.
Right.
So even if the other part of the nation is basically corrected and measured, like the Lord will do, and He saves that one, like I said, if Israel is like a cluster of grapes, the elect is like that one grape. He's not going to leave. He's not going to totally punish all Jacob.
Right.
He's going to save a remnant for Himself that's going to represent Israel in the kingdom.
Right.
Now, when you go into the specific set of knowledge that's in the scriptures that is for the elect, it's talked about. We're talking about this is Isaiah 8, and I'll start at 14. And he shall be for a sanctuary, but for a stone, a stumbling, and for a rock of offense to both the houses of Israel, for a gin and for a snare to the inhabitants of Jerusalem. And many among them shall stumble and fall.
Come on.
So many among who? Israel. He just said both the houses of Israel, he shall be a snare and a gin. And many among them shall stumble and fall and be broken and be snared and be taken. But on the opposite side, but bind up the testimony, seal the law among my disciples.
Come on, man. That's the elect right there.
Yeah.
That's the elect. And the way that you get what that scripture is pertaining to is because they did not have faith in Yahawashi. You know, they couldn't accept that aspect of it. It's clear.
It's simple, but it's very simple, but I understand. We understand that it's hard for some.
Right.
We're not nationalists.
We're not nationalists.
Nationalists meaning we're not nationalists in the sense of we're preaching a doctrine that's all Israel. Hey, if you don't make it, if you don't believe, if you're snared, broken, and taken, you're gonna come back anyway. We're gonna put you together like Humpty Dumpty.
Nah.
Because that sounds like Humpty Dumpty fell on the wall, man, and had a great fall and got broken. That's what it sounds like to me in that verse, don't it?
What a balance in that, though.
So what we gonna do? Put Humpty Dumpty together? No, you destroyed, bro.
You're right.
You're destroyed, man.
It's like when Yahawashi said, I pray for them, I pray not for the world.
Yep.
He's talking about the elect, man.
He's talking about the elect. That's right.
He's talking about it. all Israel, but he's talking about the elect. I'm praying for Israel.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? I'm praying for my elect of Israel, the ones you have given me. Talking about the Father have given him.
Exactly.
It's a particular group of people amongst Israel that Yahweh has given to Yahawashi.
Yep.
That's the elect.
And just like Humpty Dumpty, man. Humpty Dumpty, according to the gospel, like that, you're unequally yoked. If you get what I'm saying.
Yeah, right.
You're unequally yoked. You're broke.
Yep, that's right. That's right.
like a broken Humpty Dumpty.
Right.
Hey, this just to back your brother up on that scripture. This is Romans 9:31. But Israel, which followeth after the law of righteousness, hath not attained to the law of righteousness. Wherefore, because they sought it not by faith,
Right.
but as it were by works of the law.
So they were keeping the customs.
So they were constantly keeping the customs, but it wasn't enough to get them into the kingdom.
Because it wasn't based on faith.
It wasn't based on faith.
That's why a lot of guys, they think that them keeping the law is going to save them. You're doing it by the works of the law, but not by faith. If you're keeping the law based on faith, that's one thing.
Yeah.
But if you're looking to do the works of the law for your righteousness,
You done. You look. You done missed the mark, man.
Yeah.
You know.
You can seclude a gang of people and put them in a remote area and teach all their kids all the law. It don't matter.
Yep, that's
If they
right.
ain't got faith, all they do is just raise up in the customs. Listen, people do what's customary to their environment.
That's right.
When you're in a culture basically has influence on whatever's inside of it. Just like in science. They have a petri dish, they put something in there, and then it shows you how it affects the rest of the cells that's
Right.
in that particular culture. That's how culture works. So you just being placed in that culture to keep customs according to the works of the law,
Right.
it's not going to save you.
Yeah,
man.
it's not gonna
Right,
get,
man.
it's not gonna make the cut. It says verse 32. Wherefore, because they sought it not by faith, but as it were by the works of the law, for they stumble at that stumbling stone, as it is written, Behold, I lay in Zion a stumbling stone, a rock of offense, and whosoever believeth on him shall not be ashamed, man. So that's all Yahawashi right there. So if you don't have that, and it's it's a good example inside the scriptures pertaining to this in Matthew 19, when Yahawashi goes to the young man who had many possessions. The dude kept the commandments. He had all that stuff, man. He told Yahawashi he lacked the faith. He said, take all thy possessions and give it to the poor and come and follow down me. He couldn't do it, man. He said he walked away sorrowful.
Yep.
You know, it's like what? He said, it shall be hard for a rich man to enter into the kingdom of God. So if it's hard for him, because what? Because of what? The dude had the commandments. It's because he didn't have faith, man.
That's right, man.
That faith is predicated, man. You got that. You can have it. Doesn't necessarily mean because Christianity will come in and tell you you don't have to do the commandments no longer. That's not the case. You still have to do those commandments, but you have to mix it with faith, man.
Right.
If the faith isn't there, man, you're done. So righteousness can't be attained by you.
It can't be reclaimed by the works of the law.
Yeah.
Because Israel tried to do it already. It didn't work. They lacked faith, man. That's the reason why they went into idolatry. Because when you don't have the faith in it, you're just eventually going to go into idolatry because your faith got to go somewhere.
Yep.
So you could be keeping have fringes on, and then all of a sudden worshiping Molech with fringes on and a beard.
Come on.
That's what they was doing.
Yeah.
They were rocking fringes and a beard
And
going to Moloch and sacrificing their babies, bro. Right?
Yep, that's right. They doing all that stuff, man.
That's what they was doing, man. Unto this day.
You got something?
I was just going to read this Romans.
Go ahead.
This is Romans 3:31, just to back you up what you were just saying about faith and the law. This is Romans 3:31. Do we then make void the law through faith? God forbid. Yea, we establish the law. So just like the brother was saying, man, it's a balance thing. You gotta keep the law to the best of your ability, and you gotta have that faith, most importantly of all, man.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Yeah, you gotta be initiated.
Right.
You gotta be initiated because you can be like, I believe in Yahawashi, but if you don't want to get baptized, you ain't got faith.
No faith.
Because you ain't been initiated, bro. You ain't even in the esoteric circle. We ain't even in the esoteric knowledge.
Man, man.
You're outside the circle. Yahawashi.
You could.
Y'all saw the circle with chicken lips.
These are the, you know, they always say the United States always talk about the truth, the proud, the Marines, the elite of their army or whatever, man. Hey, coming into this here, man, this is the elite circle, man. When you get initiated and you got to endure to the end.
That's right, man.
You know,
that's you know, you got Israel, and then you got the Israel of God, man, which is the elect of God, bro. That's what a lot of people can't understand. They just keep looking at all Israel, but then you got the Israel of God. And that's in the scriptures, man. So it's like it's a separation. And that's the all Israel that shall be saved, the Israel of God. That's in Romans 11 and 26. That's gonna be when the Gentiles come in, and that's gonna be the other part of Israel that's gonna join on to the southern kingdom, and they gonna all come as one and be saved.
That's right.
And the other one's gonna just fall at the wayside, man. They're not getting in the kingdom. Point blank.
Not getting into the kingdom, man. Like the brother said, like when you really examine it, you gotta just believe in a particular message. You gotta believe in the Son. You gotta believe in the gospel. It's not like you gotta be some high level genius. This is about a belief system. It's about the household of faith. Galatians 3. Galatians 3 is talking about the household of faith. Because why was Abraham justified? He was justified by faith, being not yet circumcised. Being not yet circumcised, he was justified by his faith in Yahweh.
You gotta have that faith that
I appreciate what y'all doing. It's not for us, it's for others. People that don't understand what you guys are talking about. That's what that's for.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's what's up.
But you gotta have faith to believe that you one of those that Yahweh gave to Yahawashi, man.
Come on.
Who's Yahawashi praying for?
Come on, man.
That's the type of faith you gotta have.
I pray for them, not for the world.
That's right.
That's John 17.
Man.
You know, I pray for them. I pray not for the world.
I pray for them who my Father has given to me.
Now, when you read a lot of the prophets, right? Like especially like when you read like Ezekiel, Jeremiah, Isaiah, as you read through their books chapter by chapter, you realize they come to the conclusion that that part of Israel has to be destroyed. And every one of them, they come to the conclusion, they get the prophecy from Yahweh that he's going to destroy them. In fact, Jeremiah even made a prayer after coming to the realization. He said, "Let them be ashamed and confounded that seek after my hurt." He's talking about other Israel. He's talking about. He said the same ones when I was coming out there telling them to repent or whatever, and they was coming at me, ridiculing me. He told Yahweh, let them be ashamed and confounded forever.
Come on.
Didn't he say that?
He said that. He said that.
Let them be ashamed and confounded forever.
That's right.
Didn't they make a prayer?
He said, I was just about to go into that. What does forever mean, man? Because see, a little kid can tell you what forever means, but it seems that adults have become so wise that they done lost the understanding of what forever was.
What's that word?
So wise. It becomes cognitive dissonance, man. That's what it becomes.
That's my new word, boy. I can't pronounce it for nothing in the world, but that's my new word.
Cognitive dissonance.
And now you can see why Yahawashi made that statement concerning those who can hear. He said, "I'm glad thou gavest this unto not to the wise and prudent, but unto babes, because the wise cannot attain to the simplicity of the gospel, man."
Not many wise, man.
Yeah, man, you can't. It's just too hard.
If you look at a lot of the people that's in the gospel, many of the men weren't considered wise men.
They were considered ignorant men.
Unlearned men. Outside of a few guys. Like you had a few guys. What was the guy that was heavy into the scriptures?
That was Apollos,
Paul. Those would be considered, but there were not many. There were not many wise among the people that believed.
That's right, man. That's some heavy stuff, man.
It's real heavy, man.
You think about that gospel, how powerful it is. It's so simple, but yet so difficult, man. You know, it's both in the same time, and it's hard for other brothers to see it. And I know you know, I know when I first started seeing this gospel the way it's supposed to be, I'm like, oh my God, this thing is easy. But then you try to relay it to somebody, you know, you're like, hey man, look, this is easy. And they're like, you don't understand. You're like, what? It's like, dude, it's easy, but it's difficult for them.
Yeah, it's like trying to hold water, man.
And that's where the patience is.
Like, imagine trying to hold water. That's what it's like trying to believe in the gospel.
Because, man,
it's like impossible. Without Yahweh, it's impossible. You can't hold water.
Yeah.
With Yahweh, you can.
Because it's so extreme on both sides, man. Even with these Christians, man, they believe in that everybody can attain this.
That's what the scriptures say. I think it's in Ezra. I don't know. I think second Ezra. This world is made for many, but the world to come is made for few.
Yeah, come on, yeah.
Come on,
So it's like, you know, and so the scripture can't be made for it. I mean, it can't be talking about all Israel, bro.
Know what that boy was smoking?
He was smoking death. Bro, that dude's going, bro, that thing could kill somebody.
Still smelling, still lingering.
Yeah, you know, it's one of those things, man. It's like, it's a select few, man. I know it's hard to understand, but it's a select few.
That's right.
You know, these Christians, you saw it in Jake that came out, and all these people, man, they done messed up
a lot of people's head, man. They done messed a lot of people's head up with that.
Because you got to think about it. And the gospel message means that, listen, the Edomite, listen, you talk to Edomite about the gospel and that America has to be destroyed in order for the Messiah to come. They don't want that.
They don't want that, man.
So they can't even believe in that, man.
Yeah.
You have to have your beloved kingdom, your Basra, your capital. You'd have to have this place destroyed in flames and wiped off the face of the earth if you want the kingdom. Esau ain't going with that.
Right, man.
Esau want this place to go and Cesare Borgia to pop through the clouds, man.
Right.
So that's what they want, man. They want Caesar Borgia to pop out the clouds and America still standing. Yeah. They want him to probably be president of the United States.
Ain't no way, bro. I mean, you can just look at history. All great kingdoms fail, man.
Yeah. If you talk to Edomite and you tell them that, listen, in order for the Messiah to come, he's got to destroy all kingdoms. He's got to destroy all power and principalities on the earth.
That's right.
He's got to subdue them under his feet, according to the scriptures. That means your beloved back to America will have to go.
And that place that which evil is sown is not, what it say in the scripture, like the second edge?
Yep.
That place where evil is sown is not torn down.
Yep.
It got to be torn down in order for righteousness to be ushered in, man. It got to be burnt down in order for righteousness to be ushered in.
An Edomite and a slave-minded Israelite ain't gonna want that.
You just can't build righteousness on a filthy place, man.
Come on,
It ain't. It's not biblical. It's not.
Jake looking for reparations from Esau ain't gonna believe that, man.
Right.
You gotta go with the same. The dude got his image and superscription on the bill.
Come on, man.
The dude can give you that. Listen, so heavy, bro. When you go into the Native Americans and what they got, their reparations, when you even go into admissions, like the college admission story, you know that the Edomites was faking their ethnicity. Among those that they do is like the Native American. They do that Native American one. When I was working in the higher end, we had a specific group. If somebody called in and said that they were Native American, we had to send them to a specific team out at the main location that they would deal with them directly. Do you know that all these Edomites have to do is they get reparations is reclassify themselves as
That's right. My great grandmother, she was African American slave.
And they can forge it, and they can forge that information just like they did with the college admissions. On the college admissions, they were using other people's test scores, having other people take tests to represent them on the SAT, and it was saying it was them that took it. So all they got to do now is forge ancestry documents and just say one particular grandmother was a freaking slave, and just change up information and then send it out, and take your resources.
And you know, already here in America, they already say 1/4 of African American blood in
one drop rule.
You black.
One drop rule. There's whole families. See, it's so deep, you can't even go even that deep on y'all. There's whole families of Edomites that got melanin.
Esau gonna take all your reparations.
Yep.
Barry Gordy, one of them.
They gonna have you over there trying to take DNA to prove that you African American.
Hey, what's going on, brother?
Barry Gordy's an Edomite. How about that? I bet y'all didn't know.
That's right.
Barry Gordy's cousin is Jimmy Carter. Barry Gordy's cousin is Jimmy Carter, man.
Yeah.
Barry Gordy's father, his niece, is the mother of Jimmy Carter.
Come on, man.
They all from the same time in Georgia. One is the Barry Gordy's grandfather was a plantation owner, Mr. Gordy in Georgia.
Right.
Had his father, who then moved to Detroit and then helped his son start up a record label called Motown. And his cousin, and Barry Gordy's cousin, is Jimmy Carter. How about that? You Negroes will run out there. Now you understand why he had that connection back then.
Yeah.
Back when Jake was getting their head bashed in, he had a record label that was getting national play.
You can't do that.
And these families know this. These families like that, they sit there knowing this knowledge, man. They got that inner knowledge where they know.
ADOS accepted right on in.
Yeah.
Be through.
ADOS will put in my leader.
So you see why it's so important that the gospel be pushed out, man?
That's right.
You don't believe me? Look it up. Go to Wikipedia and it'll break it all down. This is true knowledge.
That right there is a perfect example of it, man.
Jimmy Carter at the freaking award show or whatever, White House, Michael Jackson go there, Barry Gordy. People didn't even know back then that they were cousins, man.
See?
You got Jimmy Carter at award shows or at different events where Motown artists are at, along with Barry Gordy, and that's his cousin. Nobody in the whole America knew that was his cousin.
Yeah.
See? And that stuff is...
When you look up, if you look up the mother of Jimmy Carter, the mother of Jimmy Carter is a Gordon.
See?
Look it up.
Right.
Look it up here. Look it up here.
Hey man, that's amazing, man.
You can't deal with it. You got to deal with faith, man.
You got to deal with faith.
And these families know. Because see, when Esau had these kids with some of these women, he set up some of these women and kids up. Wilberforce University in Ohio was set up specifically was a school that is now an HBCU that was initially started for those kids.
Yeah.
You have like these different organizations. They have these different organizations in which they know that stuff, man, and they pass down that information. So we got to deal with faith, man.
We got to deal with faith. And this external look, man, it's not going to cut it, man. You're looking at people with that carnal eye and understand that the spiritual is always, the carnal is always at war with the spirit, man.
Right.
And let's see. Yeah, this is Matthew. This is Matthew 24, starting at the 11th verse. And many false prophets shall rise and shall deceive many. And because iniquity shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold. But he that shall endureth unto the end, the same shall be saved. And this gospel of the kingdom shall be preached in all the world for a witness unto all nations, and then the end shall come. So when this gospel right here comes through, bro, that's when the end gonna come, bro.
Esau went around the four corners of earth.
Oh man,
the Bible,
and the
end didn't come.
But they tell you that they've been preaching the gospel. This is the gospel that we're talking about right here, that will be preached throughout the ends of the earth.
True gospel.
The true gospel, man.
Esau was setting up booby traps throughout the whole world, pushing that stuff, man. That's what them Jesuits, all they was doing was setting up spiritual booby traps. So that way when Jake and all these different countries start trying to seek him, they fall right into that false Christianity.
That's
stumbling blocks.
Stumbling blocks.
That's why they pushed all that deception on you brothers, man. They had to
push Cesare Borgia on
big time, bro. and totally neglected Revelations 1 and 13, man.
Worshiping another Jesus.
You worshiping another, come on, man. And then the scriptures, Paul stated it. He said, he that preaches another God, let him be accursed. I say again, let him be accursed. He said that double. That's double on Esau, bro.
That's right.
I will give you double for what you have done.
Change not the words. If anybody change the word of this prophecy, they'll let the curses upon that are written in this book be upon that person.
Come on, man.
He did it.
And that goes also for Jake too. So you got to be very careful when you relay his word, because now for all you brothers that negate the Hebrew 6, that's a detrimental piece to the gospel, bro. That's the doctrine of Yahawashi. So by you neglecting that, you fall right underneath that what Paul was talking about. He let him be accursed. You fall right under that, man.
He was saying, let him be anatema, meaning let him be cursed unto the day of the Lord.
That's right.
Meaning you're gonna not get it. Every time you try and get the word, you ain't gonna get it all the way to the time the Yahawashi come back.
Man.
Curse for destruction or something, something like that.
I mean, that's serious stuff, man.
It is, bro.
All this, man, we gonna come back to the kingdom of rage, man.
That's not.
You brothers, see, this is the comforting thing, brothers. You don't make it.
That's right, man.
You're gonna be righteous in the kingdom of others.
Man, come on, man. So but you really got brothers, that is probably Israel, but they don't believe in the Bible, don't believe in the Messiah, don't believe in none of that stuff. So they gonna get killed on this side, then they gonna still come into the kingdom. That's what people saying.
You don't need faith.
No faith.
That means inheritance is based on being of the seed of Jacob. So the guy that was arguing with Yahawashi in the Gospel of John, he was right when he was. That means he was right when he was talking to.
I mean, that kind of thought though can have a young brother that just coming to truth go right back into the world. Because he gonna be like, why? What I gotta do out here standing on this block sacrificing my Saturdays?
I told the brother my logic. If I heard that when I was 25, if I heard that when I was 25, you know what I would have done? I would have been the first thing I said. I said, I believe.
That's right.
And they couldn't say nothing. I said, you just said that I'm going to be in the kingdom anyway. I'm Israel. So my logic would have told, I would have been on the block telling him immediately.
Right. What the scripture say though about a brother? What does the scripture say about a man that put a stumbling block before his brother though?
Come on,
come on.
I mean, it's plain, bro. I mean, and that's a big stumbling block, man, to make a brother fall out the truth.
And if people truly believe that, the brothers that's laying that out like that, man, they should just go out and do whatever, bro.
That's right.
They should not come on to the blocks. If they truly believe that you don't have to, you're gonna get reincarnated into the next kingdom, you might as well just go ahead and go back into the world. You're gonna get it anyway.
Here it is, Matthew 23 and 13.
Yeah.
But woe unto you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites, for ye shut up the kingdom of heaven against men, for ye neither go in yourselves, neither suffer ye them entering to go in.
Come on, man.
Shut up the kingdom of heaven.
Neither go in ye yourselves.
He said neither yourselves are going in.
That's right.
So here it is, you ain't going in.
No, you're going to come back as a baby.
No, but they're going to come back as a baby, right?
That is preventing people from entering in, bro. When you rock that in, that's heavy right there, man.
While we on there, let's just get this Matthew 5 and 19 and read verse 20 after 19, man.
Matthew,
read verse 20 after we read verse 19 and let's get the whole clearness of the scripture, man.
Come on,
Let's get the whole clearness of the scriptures, man.
What is
Romans 11, talking about the elect.
5 and 19.
Talking about the Israel of God, man. Plain.
Matthew 5 and 19. Whosoever therefore shall break one of the least commandments and shall teach men so, he shall be called the least in the kingdom of heaven.
Okay.
But whosoever shall do and teach them, the same shall be called great in the kingdom of heaven.
Now let's clear it up with verse 20. Let's bring it all together. Let's bring all of it together right now.
For I say unto you that except your righteousness shall exceed the righteousness of the scribes and Pharisees, ye shall in no case enter into the kingdom of heaven.
In no case?
In no case.
Let's get the definition of no case, man. Let's get the definition. My phone, my battery about to die. Get the definition of no case, man. Come on, man. since we want to get into definitions, get into the definition of no case.
Come on, bro. And Yahawashi just said in 2013,
yeah,
the scribes and Pharisees
right.
were not entering in, neither were they allowing those that were trying to enter in.
Right.
Right?
In no case, man.
So this is Matthew chapter 5 and verse 20. All right, so that word there, for in no case is G3364. Umay. So umay, Strong's G3364. Dyer's definition: never. Certainly not at all, by no means.
Coming back as a baby.
Never. Not entering.
Just come back in the kingdom as a little baby?
Never, certainly.
No, I gotta come back as a little. We gotta.
Now, let the brother read the Strong's definition. The brother gonna read the Strong's definition.
That is G3756 and G3361.
It's a compound word. Ume is a compound word.
Right.
Go ahead, Art.
A double negative strengthening the denial. Not at all, anymore, at all, by any, no means, neither, never, no, at all, in no case, wise, nor ever, not at all, in any wise.
I don't believe Yahawashi word. You gonna come back as a baby. I don't believe what Yahawashi saying. You gonna come back in the kingdom as a baby.
By any, no, never. No, not at all, in no case, nor ever. It says nor ever.
Man, Yahawashi don't know what he's talking about. You gonna come back as a baby.
It says double negative, Akim. It says double negative, Akim.
Negative, man.
Double negative, Akim. We're gonna look up the double negative.
See what the double negative is.
Come on, man.
Your English teacher done told you can't talk like that.
Yeah.
You're not supposed to talk like that.
Yeah.
You can't use two negatives in a sentence, man.
A double negative. I'm on Bing search. It says a negative statement containing two negative elements. For example, he didn't say never. He didn't say you gonna enter it. He said never.
Never.
Hold on. I'm gonna go to Wikipedia right now, man, because I know you guys can go to Wikipedia. A double negative is a grammatical construction occurring when two forms of negation are used in the same sentence. Multiple negation is a more general term referring to the occurrence of more than one negative in a clause. In some languages, double negatives cancel one another and produce an affirmative, meaning it's affirmative. This affirms that it's not going to happen.
Right.
So you can't Johnny Cochran yourself and say the glove don't fit. You must have quit to Yahawashi. He said never, ever, ever. There is no arbitration. There is no litigation. There is no appeal process.
Amen. That's clear to me.
Meaning his judgment is final.
Yeah.
There is no court of the appeals with Yahawashi.
That's right.
Well, look, you did say that you never ever, by no means in no case, but we Israel,
it don't work like that.
He said that some gonna be blinded, but then again you read down and say all Israel shall be saved.
Man.
But if you read down to 28, it'll tell you it's talking about the elect. In Romans, I'm talking about in Romans 11. Read on down.
Now, read this. It tells you that a double negative is used in languages such as Portuguese, Persian, Russian. When you go down, Hebrew. So meaning that in the Hebrew language, we're known to use a double negative.
Right.
And in some dialects of English, such as African American vernacular English.
Come on.
So just like old boy said, you will never ever enter the kingdom. What? Enter the kingdom? What? Enter the kingdom? That's what Yahawashi said.
That's right.
Man.
It says in African American vernacular English, a double negative is used.
Come on, man.
Don't you know that song?
Never, ever, forever, ever.
Is that a Little John song?
Yeah. No,
he
that's
said never ever. Who's that?
That's that big wrestler dude.
Oh, Bone Crusher.
Yeah, wasn't it?
One of them guys.
Yeah,
y'all Jakes know.
Yeah.
If you over 30, you know that song from the early 2000s. Right. Never ever is a double negative used in the African American vernacular.
That's right.
Oh, all right. Yeah. Ezekiel 9, man.
9 and 4.
You already know. give them, or actually get 3. Speaking to a people.
Ezekiel 9.
That's 3, right? Not speaking to people with hard speech. You know what I'm talking about?
They running with that Romans 11:26 like the Christians run with John 3:16, bro. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, this is Ezekiel 3 and verse. I'll start at 4. And he said unto me, Son of man, go get thee unto the house of Israel and speak with my words unto them. For thou art not sent to a people of strange speech and of a hard language, but to the house of Israel.
Come on, man.
So it's not hard, bro.
It says that that's on. We use the double negative as a people.
Yeah.
If you believe that that's our vernacular, right? Carnally, right?
That's right.
We use a double negative, man.
That's right.
Oh, even when you go into Taylor Swift song, if you're on the other side of that culture, if you're on the other side of American culture, there's a song where she says, she goes, we will never, ever, ever get back together. Basically, it's a song about an ex-boyfriend trying to get back with her, and she says, we'll never, ever, ever get back together.
That's a double negative.
That's a double negative, man. Meaning, she said, I'm finalizing it. It ain't ever going to happen. I'm with affirmative emphasis.
Yeah, that's what it is.
So you got to understand, man.
That's what it's doing.
Different levels, man. That's even more taken unto judgment.
Not answer, man. Oh, Hebrews 4. That's what you got.
Yeah. Hey, man. So it's a wrap, bro.
All these guys telling you that you're going to enter the kingdom of the baby, they're not giving you the real fear of the Lord, man. These guys on the last day will take the chip, man. All that chip talk is going to lead to a chip in their right hand, because they're going to justify themselves throughout their doctrine. The leaven in their doctrine is going to make them justify them in the time of trouble to take the chip anyway.
Yeah.
Because they'll be like, man, the elder did say that I'll be in the kingdom. Man, F Esau, man. Take the chip.
Yep.
Because your doctrine is already pushing you to take the chip, man.
Yep.
Based on your doctrine belief, you're going to take the chip, man.
Yep.
When your stomach starts rumbling, you're going to justify yourself with your doctrine.
That's key right there, man. That's very important what the brother just saying. Because if you feel like you're going to make it on the go round, you're going to take that chip.
Yeah, why not?
Why not? Because you're going to get in the kingdom anyway.
Yeah.
Dude, you're killing yourself, man. You're killing yourself with that doctrine, bro.
What is the greatness of being an elect if everybody is going to be in the kingdom?
Man, because look, it's kind of like when you taking that diamond, man,
right,
out of the midst of rocks. You got all these rocks. What is a diamond known as? A rock.
That's right.
But then you looking at all them rocks and you piecing them diamonds out, because there's a difference between that particular rock and these other rocks, man. Because it's more precious.
Yeah.
It's less of those and many of those. That's the precious. That's how the elect are towards with the Most High.
Why would the Most High mention a book of life with names in it, but everybody gonna pay to get in?
Come on. Why? So everybody's name in there, bro.
Everybody's name in the book.
Come on.
It don't even matter.
Everybody's name in there. Come on, man.
Bro.
What is that? Hebrews 4?
Hebrews 4.
This is Hebrews 4. Let us therefore fear, lest the promise being left us of entering into his rest, any of you should seem to come short of it. For unto us was the gospel preached, and as well as unto them. But the word preached did not profit them, not being mixed with faith in them that heard it. For we which have believed do enter into the rest, as he said.
We that believe enter. That's what he said. We that believe do enter.
Yep, do enter into rest, as he said. As I have sworn in my wrath, if they shall enter into my rest, although the works were finished from the foundation of the world. For he spake in a certain place of the seventh day on this wise, and God did rest the seventh day from all his works.
Oh, look, keep going.
Yeah. And in this place again, if they shall enter into my rest, seeing therefore it remaineth that some must enter therein, and they to whom it was first preached enter not in because of unbelief.
Enter not in because why?
Unbelief.
Come on, man.
Unbelief. Man.
Come on, man.
Hey man,
Cola.
it's something to say when you go into the scriptures and there's aspects that are clearly there for your benefit, and you tell somebody that it's not needed. That's unbelief right there. And that word belief is so powerful, man. It's so powerful because it encompasses so many things.
It's an element of the whole thing we're talking about.
Belief, faith. What's also in belief? Hope, promise. All these promises and all these things that the Most High is promising to give us. It's all within that belief.
It's right.
You go back and you know it's all encompassing, man.
This is unbelievable.
The scriptures say, "He who overcomes shall inherit all things." So when you come back in the kingdom, what you gonna inherit? You come back as a baby.
Oh, come on, man.
You ain't overcame nothing.
Come on, man.
So what's gonna be your inheritance in the kingdom, man?
And then it also goes into the man. That's so heavy, bro. That's some heavy stuff, man. Man, it really ain't.
It's about balance, though. When it all boils down to it, it's about balance, man.
Bro, I don't see how y'all believing in that doctrine.
It's a very
dangerous thing.
What's up, bro? Yeah, it's all about balance, man. I mean, if it's good, evil.
Yeah, man, it don't make no sense, man. You got anything else?
Yeah, this is Matthew chapter 16 and verse 24. Then said Yahawashi unto his disciples, if any man will come after me, let him deny himself and take up his cross and follow me. For whosoever will save his life shall lose it, and whosoever will lose his life for my sake shall find it. For what is a man profited if he shall gain the whole world and lose his own soul? Or what shall a man give in exchange for his soul? For the Son of Man shall come in the glory of his Father with his angels, and then he shall reward every man according to his works.
Man, all praise to Yahawashi, man. This stuff is it's so, man, that's heavy right there, bro. That's heavy, man. I mean,
and the rest was blinded.
You got guys out here that set up their own people to be killed, massacred for money, bro, to gain the carnal things of this world, man, and they're going to get something on the other side.
Right.
Out of your mind with that.
Yahawashi said, no, hell no.
No. The double negative. What it was the double negative.
Yeah.
Never ever.
Never, not in any case, by no means, never.
That's right. Hey, this is Matthew. This is Matthew 26:6. Now, when Yahawashi was in Bethany in the house of Simon the leper, there came unto him a woman having an alabaster box of very precious ointment, and poured it on his head as he sat at meat. But when he saw it, when his disciples saw it, they had indignation, saying, "To what purpose is this waste? For this ointment might have been sold for much and given to the poor." When Yahawashi understood it, he said unto them, "Why trouble ye the woman? For she hath brought a good work upon me. For ye have the poor always with you, but me ye have not always. For in that she hath poured this ointment on my body, she did it for my burial. Verily I say unto you, wheresoever this gospel shall be preached in the whole world, there shall also this that this woman hath done be told for a memorial of her." With that, we like to give all honor, glory, and praise to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahawashi. Peace and blessings to the hopeful elect. Shalom.
Right.
Yeah, that was